This chilling 1882 photo captures a towering heap of bison skulls. In the 19th century, these majestic creatures were driven to the brink of extinction, hunted relentlessly for their hides and meat. This image is a haunting glimpse into the devastation left in the wake of that brutal hunt. In the 1800s, prostitutes in Jerome, Arizona were a harsh reality of the booming mining town. As miners flooded in, these women worked in brothels, serving the miners' needs while enduring tough, often dangerous lives. Their work was crucial to Jerome's economy, yet they faced constant stigma and violence, with their stories largely erased from the town's history. These are sex workers in 1890s Alaska, part of the Wild West. With a severe shortage of women across the region, prostitution became a booming industry. In some towns, the number of prostitutes outnumbered other women by as much as 25 to 1. In 1851, 14-year-old Olive Oddman's family was attacked by Native Americans in what is now Arizona. Her parents were killed, but Olive and her sister were spared and sold to the Mojave tribe. After 5 years, Olive returned to white society, forever marked by the blue tattoos on her chin, inked by the Mojave. Tragically, her sister didn't survive, dying of starvation during their captivity. Medicine men and women were highly respected in Native American communities, acting as both healers and spiritual guides. This photo from the 1890s, taken by Frank G. Carpenter, shows an Eskimo medicine man believed to be performing a ritual to drive evil spirits from a sick boy in Alaska. This is one of the ceremonial gowns worn by Apache spirit dancers. Their vivid costumes and headpieces are not just for show. They're used to tell stories and heal, forging a connection with the mountain spirits. Every piece of the costume, every movement, carries profound meaning. This photo, taken in 1887, captures a tradition that still endures today. In the 1800s, prostitution was legal in Arizona and several other states. The state profited from this industry through licensing, taxes, and fines, as brothels became a common part of life in the era. Before we jump to next image, hit like and subscribe for more shocking content. Sandstorms were a frequent and perilous threat in the Old West. This photo, taken in Midland, Texas in 1884, captures a massive sand cloud hovering over the town. These storms, along with tornadoes and hurricanes, made travel across the West a dangerous endeavor. In the Wild West, women often had to arm themselves for protection. Female outlaws, like Big Nose Kate, the wife of Doc Holliday, were far from rare. Kate gained notoriety for setting a jail on fire to help her husband escape, showing that toughness was a necessity for survival in those harsh times. Rose Dunn, famously known as Rose of Cimarron, fell for outlaw George Bitter Creek Newcomb after her brothers introduced them. However, their romance took a tragic turn when her brothers killed Newcomb to claim the bounty on his head. This unsettling 19th century photograph looks like something straight out of a horror movie or video game, but it's real. The image sparks more questions than answers. Why is the girl wearing a mask? Who is the figure lurking behind her? And where are her legs? The mystery endures unanswered. The Rufus Buck Gang, a notorious but brief alliance of Park Creek Indians and African Americans, left a trail of bloodshed, including the murder of U.S. Deputy Marshal John Garrett and at least 2 women. Their reign of terror ended when they were captured by Creek Ligger police and hanged on July 1, 1896 at Fort Smith. William T. Anderson, infamous as Bloody Bill, was one of the most feared Confederate guerrilla leaders of the Civil War. The death of his father at the hands of a Union soldier ignited his deep hatred for the Union, shaping him into a ruthless and deadly force. As the leader of Quantrell's Raiders, his gang became notorious for their brutal and merciless attacks. Buffalo Bill's Wild West show gained fame for its thrilling cowboy stunts and gunfight reenactments. Only the top sharpshooters were chosen to perform, including legends like Johnny Baker, Coyote Bill, Jess Willard, and even iconic women such as Annie Oakley. This 1889 photo captures the interior of the Table Bluff Hotel and Saloon in Humboldt County, California. Established in 1852 by Van German, it was later managed by Seth Kinman, a famous entertainer known for playing a fiddle made from muleskin for President Lincoln. Laura Bullion, famously known as the Rose of the Wild Bunch, was taught the ways of outlaw life by her bank-robbing father. With her tough demeanor and romantic connections to several members of the Wild Bunch gang, she became a well-known figure. After serving time in prison, Laura left her criminal past behind, relocated to Memphis, and worked various jobs until her death in 1961. The Sioux Nation, made up of the Eastern Dakota, Western Dakota, and Lakota tribes, is one of the most prominent and recognized tribes of the Great Plains. This image captures their teepees scattered across the vast landscape. Designed to keep the tribes cool in the summer and warm in the winter, these structures were ideal for their nomadic way of life. Kramer's Saloon in Monroe County, Michigan might resemble modern bars, but the beer served there was a whole different experience. Without refrigeration or pasteurization, customers had to drink their beer, served at a temperature of 55 to 65 degrees, quickly before it lost its fizz. This 1886 photo from Nueces River, Texas, captures Apaches waiting to be exiled by train after surrendering to General Miles. Even after being forced from their land, the Apache never stopped fighting for their rights. Geronimo, a revered leader and medicine man of the Bed and Koha band of the Apache tribes, gained fame for uniting multiple native tribes to resist American and Mexican forces. After years of relentless defiance, he finally surrendered to the U.S. Army and spent his final years as a prisoner of war, passing away in 1909. Wyatt Earp, pictured here with his friend Bat Masterson, is immortalized for his role in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral, where he and his brothers Morgan and Virgil, along with Doc Holliday, battled 4 outlaws. Bat Masterson, on the other hand, gained his own fame during the Second Battle of Adobe Walls, where he fought alongside buffalo hunters to defend against hundreds of Comanche and Kiowa warriors. Photography was a groundbreaking and rare invention in the Old West, with cowboys taking great pride in being captured on camera, often posing with their guns. Despite the Wild West's image of chaos, gun laws were in place, and not everyone had the legal right to carry firearms. Jesse James, notorious as an outlaw, was also a husband and father. This photo shows his children, Jesse James Jr. and Mary Susan James, born in Nashville, Tennessee, under the false names Mary and Tim Howard. They were with their father when he was tragically assassinated by Bob Ford in 1882. Elk and Black Elk, 2 Oglala Lakota natives, were featured in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, famed for their lively dances adorned with shells and bells. After a European tour in 1888, Black Elk and 3 companions missed their return boat to the U.S. and spent the next 2 years traveling across Europe with another performance troupe. Kit Carson, an iconic American frontiersman, was instrumental in shaping California's development. At the age of 16, he became a mountain man and trapper, undertaking countless expeditions across the Rocky Mountains. His adventurous stories inspired many to venture westward. After having 10 children with 3 wives, Carson passed away in 1868 from an aortic aneurysm. General Custer, a seasoned veteran of both the Civil War and the American Indian Wars, is most famously remembered for his fatal defeat at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Outnumbered nearly 6-1 by 3,500 Native American warriors, his force of about 600 men was quickly overwhelmed, resulting in a crushing loss. Photographer John Grael captured the evolving landscape of the West in the late 1800s. His powerful images chronicled the frontier's growth, but tragically, he succumbed to mercury poisoning after working in the mines. Traveling the Wild West was fraught with danger. Wealthy travelers frequently hired armed guards to protect them on perilous routes like the Sierra Nevada Mountain Trail. These trails played a crucial role in America's westward expansion. Terry's Texas Rangers, one of the most formidable Confederate cavalry regiments during the Civil War, fought in over 275 battles across 7 states. Established in 1861, the Rangers surrendered on April 26, 1865, alongside the rest of the Army of Tennessee, marking their dissolution. This photo captures Charlie Nebo, a true cowboy, with his partner, Nicholas Janis. Nebo led a simple life on the frontier, never one to boast about his accomplishments. Accompanying the image is a handwritten note that reads, "The genuine cowboy, captured alive." At the peak of its popularity, Buffalo Bill's Wild West show dazzled an audience of around 18,000 at the Chicago World's Fair. However, the show struggled during the Great Depression and ultimately closed in 1913 when William Cody, its owner, declared bankruptcy. Belle Starr, a notorious female outlaw, gained infamy after marrying Cherokee Sam Starr and engaging in horse stealing and bootlegging. In 1883, she was imprisoned for horse theft and was eventually fatally shot. In the 19th century Wild West, gambling was more than just entertainment. It was a way of life. It's no surprise that some of the first buildings in frontier towns were gambling halls. Among the most famous games to emerge during this time was a bluffing game that would go on to evolve into what we now know as American poker. Spotted Elk, also known as Bigfoot, was a respected chief of the Minikju Lakota Sioux tribe. His nickname was given to him by a U.S. Army soldier at Fort Bennet. Tragically, he lost his life along with 152 others during the Wounded Knee Massacre in 1890. In the early days of the California Gold Rush, dance halls were simple gatherings, often held in tents. But by the 1880s, they had evolved into extravagant high-class affairs. This 1909 photo, taken in Seattle, shows women dressed in fine fashion outside the Klondike Dance Hall and Saloon. My man, a Mojave Native American, served as a guide and interpreter in Colorado during the 1870s, working alongside photographer Timothy O'Sullivan. Together, they captured breathtaking images of the West, which O'Sullivan used to entice settlers to the region. Death Valley, one of the hottest places on Earth, got its name during the California Gold Rush when 13 pioneers perished trying to cross it. Temperatures there have soared to a scorching 134 degrees Fahrenheit, setting a record that still stands. If you found these rare glimpses into the past fascinating, make sure to subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, on to the next adventure.